Good morning, the COT data video for the week beginning the 30th of September 2024. On the right hand side, we can see the QDB scores, which takes into account sentiment, technical, and fundamental. So in the fundamental scores, you've got your inflation change, the unemployment change, GDP, and the GDP change. So it's a very powerful fundamental score that it uses, and also it looks at the technical. So weekly open, daily open, monthly pivot, weekly pivot, daily pivot. So it checks the pivots and the open, which is very powerful. And on the sentiment, it takes into account, are they long or the short? If did they add short, did they add long? And so it's a very powerful score. So we can see yen has come off quite a way off the lows. And we saw the big reaction on the yen this week. We really pumped because of the macro from Japan. They've got a PM who isn't going to be too hesitant about hiking, whereas the other prime minister, it's looking likely that she didn't want to hike as well. So it would have been a big deal going forward for the yen. And it just so happened that the PM, the prime minister who won, is not is in favour of hiking. It's not like got anything against it particularly. So we could see some yen strength, right? And that's come off a long way off the lows. Dollar's got a poor score, and the CAD's got a poor score. And these might just be a little bit choppy, especially the permutations of the Euro Swiss, the Pound Swiss, the Euro Pound. They're going to be a little bit choppy. So you could theoretically look for longs on the New Zealand dollar and on the Australian dollar. Bear in mind that we may be risk off this week, so you want to be a little bit careful about buying Aussie and about buying New Zealand dollar. But we'll just have to wait and see. If we have like a ground invasion of Lebanon from Israel, that's going to be risk off, I think. And so you just got to be careful. And we had a very choppy week on the bot, which is a bit annoying. We actually had quite a loss. We had a 200 pip loss this week on the QDB bot. So with any luck, we have some nice directional moves. If we have a risk off scenario, it should help with some of the flows. I think what happened is that we had some positive China macro last week, and that sent the risk appetite pumping. But then on the other hand, we've got the Middle East crisis, and also you could argue that bit of macro that came out from Russia as well. Putin was talking about readying nuclear capabilities and stuff like that. So if we have a risk-off scenario this week, we may see some like decent directional moves. Like last week, it was very choppy, especially the Euro USD. So let's talk about the Euro USD. The dollar has depreciated. We may go negative. We may actually go negative this time next week. It's going to be a big deal if we go below zero. Okay, so be careful about holding dollar longs if we go below zero. The euro ticked up higher slightly. Let's have a look at the yen. Now, this is the first time I've seen this, so we can look at this together. And we absolutely pumped on the yen. 56 to 66. Oh, wow. So there's the dollar yen sell setup, because what they're buying the yen and they're short in the USD. So there's that setup. We're probably going to have the euro yen sell set up as well. As you can see, we're probably going to get a crossover, especially if that ticks down. Okay, and euro off, Aussie on. Aussie's just chopping. Just chop, isn't it? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I mean, we're negative, but we come off the lows there. It looks like we're just whipsawing, doesn't it? And consolidating. It's possible that the big fish aren't sure about risk appetite as well, hence the sideways nature there, because the Aussie is a very strong risk on or risk off proxy. And it might indicate that the big fish aren't really sure, potentially, about risk, basically. So pound, and likewise, we just chop in quite a bit, 66 to 86. So just range bound, aren't we? Just we're above that low and below that high, and we're probably just possibly going to chop on the pound. And we had an okay score for pound here. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not terrible. CAD's got a poor score, and we just haven't really done much, did we? 73 minus to minus 65, so nothing to write home about. You could look for CAD cells, perhaps something like Kiwi CAD or Aussie CAD. You know, you could look for Aussie CAD long, maybe. You probably want to avoid the dollar CAD because of that. You know, you're pitching week versus week. So that's that. Gold's going to be of note, and this is probably going to propel higher. Well, it should do if we have that ground invasion of Lebanon, and with the Fed cutting as well, it's going to boost gold prospects. I'll take CAD off actually. We don't need to have all of these there. And yeah, so we're just strong, aren't we? 282,000 to 315,000. So be careful if you're short. I've been saying this for ages. I think I've been saying it for down around about here, to be fair. I've said it for a while. Just be careful if you're shorting, because we can see we're trending higher, all right? And we're definitely above the zero line as well. So gold off and New Zealand dollar on. And we just went sideways. 1700 to 900. Nothing really to be said there. Just consolidating because we're below that high and above that low, like a lot of the currencies, apart from the yen, which is clearly trending now. We're definitely not range bound on the yen. We were, you could argue, here, and then we just broke that range. Massively explosion. New Zealand dollar off, and then Swiss franc, and then that'll be it. And the Swiss franc's just gone pretty sideways as well, so it might be a case of focusing on the QDB scores. And don't forget, we've got the synthetic sentiment, which is pretty awesome for intraday trades as well. And what you're looking for is just something that's heavily bearish or heavily bullish, and then you're pitching that against something that's bearish or bullish. So if you're, you know, say we've got a 7 score here and perhaps say a 7 score here, then you're looking for Aussie longs, pound sells. So you're looking for the Aussie pound currency pair, and then you just pull up your chart, know where your stop is. The stop is can be above the swing high, depending on your time frame, and it's usually pretty powerful. This little metric here, and it's also worth noting we've got the price data there as well. And it just so happened that they got pretty destroyed on Friday, which is really typical. And we can use the price to validate the sentiment, and you can see how accurate it is as well. So if you want to join us, you have to go to patreon.com/QuasiDB, and then you select the premium tier or the FX SSI / QDB tier, and that's a discount if you're subscribing to FX SSI products. And then you get access to the sheet, and we've got a 7-day free trial as well. So you see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, then you don't have to renew, and then that's it. But if you could just do the courtesy of just saying, thanks for the trial, it didn't work out for me, but you know, I wish you good luck or something like that, because I need to administer your access, and the Patreon website is sometimes very slow and it's got a big delay. So if you are to take the trial, let me know. Obviously when you sign up, because I need your Gmail address, and if you can let me know at the end of the trial, then that would be appreciated. Then I could administer your access. So that's just a quick video there, bit of a plug for the Patreon, but I think it's probably worth it. You can use these for multiple signals, and it's just one tab, and that doesn't even take into account the other tabs that we've got down here, which are really powerful, especially the QDB scores as well, which I will need to reset after this video. And so that's it. So I wish you a great Sunday, and I'll speak to you guys soon.